Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Adrian Show. It actually took me quite a while to figure out what I wanted to actually play this week. I apologize, Jake. I went with Blue Black Delver, but special shout out to Jake Manella. He made the little icon you're going to be seeing on the left-hand side of the screen during the videos covering the past turn. Thanks for the great artwork, buddy, and I'm happy to use it here on the show. Let's get into the deck. I will admit, I just went on Goldfish, and this seems to be the only blue-black Angler Delver deck in existence. I opted not to go for the snow-covered basics that other people were running just because I like the Guru lands a lot, so I'm running them instead. But yeah, let's go over the mana base. We have 3 copies of Ash Barrens, 3 copies of Evolving Wilds. This pairs well with our 4 copies of Brainstorm. And then we have some basics. No duels, you will notice. I'm not entirely sure what all that's about, but I imagine it's because this deck is fairly low to the ground and wants to get things out early and delve as much as possible, hence the Ash Barrens and Evolving Wilds for the anglers. Also no Sultai Scavenger, which I also found interesting. But I'm playing the deck as the creators who have 5-0'd with it have played it, so we're gonna give it a run for its money. It's Angler Delver, so of course we have 4 copies of Delver, and we have 4 copies of Gurmag Angler, our 2 principal threats. And then the rest of our deck is dedicated mostly to defending those threats. We have 2 copies of Mental Note, which helps us Turbo Delve. Same with the 4 copies of Thought Scour, just putting cards into our graveyard and drawing cards. 2 copies Ponder, 2 copies Disfigure. Ponder helps set up our draws, Disfigure for removal. Ghastly Demise for removal, 4 copies of Accumulated Knowledge, which is actually one of the fun reasons to play this deck. If you mill an Accumulated Knowledge, you can always cast another one later and sort of make up that parity. 3 copies Augur of Bolus. I imagine this is why we're not running Sultai Scavenger. This card is so powerful and it lets us get so many cards of our deck. 2 copies of Daze. Our lack of bounces and our lack of tappy dual lands mean that this is a much more live card. 4 copies Counterspell. I'm going to replace this with my good art ones in a second. 1 copy Deprive, so, a lot of counters. 1 copy Echoing Decay in the main deck. 1 copy Grim Harvest, which I haven't seen in the Angler Delver deck, but I like a lot. It's actually not that great with Gurmag Angler, but I imagine it being very good with Augur of Bolus, being able to keep getting this back, and then when it dies, you get to get an instant sorcery basically, and then it dies. You have to do it all over again. Is what I'm trying to say. Copy of Agony Warp, just a very strong blue-black card. It's played in a lot of the blue-black decks. 1 copy Gush, again, our extra islands and lack of tap lands mean we can run this. And then, like I said, 4 copies of Gurmag Angler. So that's the main deck. Basically, stick a Delver, stick an Angler, and fight with it through to the end. And our sideboard, we have a bit more of a traditional setup. We have 2 copies of Dispel, 2 copies Hydroblast, 2 copies of Auraflux, which are for the Boggles matchup. I wonder if I like Curfew a little better. Maybe not in this deck. That might just be a blue-black control deck style thing. 3 copies Stormbound Geist, very, very good to bring these in a lot of matchups. Blocks Creatures of the Flying, very hard to deal with. 2 copies of Nausea, our Shovel Effect. 1 copy Evankar's Justice in the side for those little guy matchups. 2 copies of Vidalian Zombie, which I think is actually really sweet tech. It's there for Stompy. And then 1 copy of Nihil Spellbomb. So real fast, I'm going to switch out these counter spells, and then we will get into our league. You can watch me do this. So yeah, I'm looking forward to running this deck. I think it's going to be a good time. I just put in something instead of taking out something. I'm just going to pause the video, and then I'll see you guys in the matches. All right, here we are in match 1, game 1. This is 100% a mulligan. I can't keep this. There's no land. Opponent chooses to be on the play. Makes sense. If I had an island, this hand. If I had an island and was on the play, this hand would be awesome. I go turn 1 Delver, leave up Daze. Turn 2, hopefully flip Delver. If not, we have Thought Scour. Or if it's a land, we have AK or Augur. But that is not what is happening, so we will be mulliganing as soon as our opponent gives us the chance to. I really wish I had Nemesis Dazes, but these are much cheaper. He doesn't look very dazed. He or she, I guess. I'm not entirely sure. More abject suffering. Right. They are keeping. We will have to mulligan. And I guess we're going to keep this. We'll scry a land at the top. That's not a land. We'll have to bottom that. So this is going to be a very slow start, but this is probably not a correct hand to keep. My lack of experience with the deck is probably showing here. I just Blossoming Sands could mean a couple decks. It could mean Rally Gond. It could mean Boggles. It could mean Slivers. Out of those three, I think Rallygon is probably the most likely, just because it's been a little bit more popular lately. But I would like for it to be Slivers. Well, isn't that just peachy? Let's go ahead and pass the turn. There's no need to reveal what we're on quite yet. But next turn, I'll play Delver, and then I will hopefully draw another island, and then I can ponder, and hopefully ponder into a way to flip Delver. Although if it is Slivers, I don't know if we're beating it with this hand. I just feel better about the Slivers matchup. That's a pretty easy one for a lot of decks, so it's probably not that. Looks like Boggles, but maybe like slow start Boggles. Unless here they have like Sahana Ledgewalker or something. Because they chose green, not white. What does this do? I wonder why you wouldn't make another white sword. Alright, that's a good reason, I guess. Yeah, I'm starting to think this is Boggles, but not a very good start from them. Of course, not a very good start from us either. Well, there's a Boggle, so if they have ethereal armor, I'm not doing so hot. Let's go get an island. Do I even have a way of dealing with Boggles? I don't. All my removal is targeted, and I don't think this deck is playing any Edict effects. That's unfortunate. Yeah, we'll grab our island. Alright. Might be getting wrecked this game. If they hadn't had a creature there, we'd be in obviously much better shape. But they did. So we could brainstorm next turn, or we could ponder. I'm more inclined to ponder, simply because we don't have any fetch lands available to us right now. And I would like to flip this Delver. So I'd like to stack my ponder. I'd like my ponder stack to be land, spell, blank. Rancor is not so bad. I will actually trade if my opponent attacks me with this Rancor Boggle. I think. No, now that they have the Glade Cover Scout, that's a lot less good. Yeah, it's not good now that they have the Glade Cover Scout. Well, they don't even give me the option anyway, so whatever. What do we get? All right. We flip the Delver. Now I'm going to hope to ponder into a land. Sweet. So let's put the Disfigure on top, put the Augur on top. We'll draw that next turn, and then put the island on top. No, we will not shuffle. We really need that island. And I think we're going to attack for 3. It's not a race. We can probably win, but I think we have to get in while the getting is good. The alternative is to hang back, and then if they top deck a spell, they put it on the Boggle or the Scout, and then I block it with the Insectile Aberration. This is hard because I really have no way of getting these creatures off the table anymore. But maybe the Delver can stem the tide until I draw like a Gurmag Angler. Or maybe I could counter a more relevant spell. If I attack, they're definitely getting in for 4. I think it's better not to attack, now that I've thought about it for a little bit. I'm definitely in the more controlling route now, and there's not a lot I could do to interact with my opponent. And if they top deck something insane here, and then I'm not able to block, then they'll just go crazy. So like if this is Armadillo Cloak on the Boggle, then I think I can still kill the Boggle. All right, well that's I should have. Now I definitely should have attacked maybe. Yeah, we're not going to be able to take too many hits from that, and I just don't think we have anything in the main to help us deal with it. In the board, we have the Aura Fluxes, which would have been insane this game. I think I'm going to have to brainstorm into turn here and just hope to get lucky. I don't want to have my mana tied up for next turn. Yeah, that's right. So now we know what our draws are, so actually I'm just going to go ahead and concede. There's no way we can win this game. All right, well, our opponent doesn't know that we're on blue-black, which is good. So what should we bring in? Definitely the Aura Fluxes. Some consideration for Nausea, and maybe some consideration for Vidalian Zombie, but it's so bad against the Trample style effects. On the play, gonna leave in the Dazes. The counters aren't great. You know, I have to take up basically all the targeted removal. So let's see where that leaves me. It's all fairly bad. So yeah, now I have 6 spots to fill. So now suddenly the Vidalian Zombies aren't looking so bad. And I guess the Nauseas aren't looking so bad either. sorcery speed way of dealing with Boggles. Whoop-de-doo. I guess at least it kills them. Yeah, just all this targeted removal. Not the matchup we wanted to see. Let's go ahead and submit. And we will see what happens in game the second here. Yes, I'll be on the play. Game the second is... I wonder if Deprive Counterspell is good enough. I'm going to say that it is. I'm going to lead off Island, and I'm just going to counter all of my opponent's relevant spells and hope that this is good enough. Can't play auras if you don't have creatures. So maybe with the knowledge that Boggles is a player in the meta, it was wrong to not be playing some sort of edicts. It has been a while since I've seen Boggles, I think. Maybe not. I can't remember all my videos. Well, that's perfect. That means I can counter whatever their turn 2 play is. That was a pretty good draw as well. That means that I don't have to counter the first creature I see. I can wait for this. I can wait and hold up this Nausea. I still think it's correct to represent Counterspell, though. And the second question is, am I willing to just 1-for-1 for Nausea? I don't care about Utopia Sprawl. I think I am just willing to 1-for-1 for Nausea. Choosing white as their other color. Now playing an Abundant Growth. This will mean... So the reason they didn't green last time was that they could play the Boggle as well. It looks like they will not be able to do that this turn. So yeah, same plan. I'm going to leave up Counterspell in case they go creature. Okay, now we have AK to hold up as well. So yeah, I like that. So now we can go counter... They can let a creature resolve. And we can counter... an aura if that occurs, or if they play like 2 creatures, we'll get them with this Nausea. Get him with the Nausea. All right, there's Boggle. I'm good to let that resolve. I probably cannot let this resolve. But if my opponent has... Yeah, I don't really think I can let this resolve. If they have the other one, then that's really unfortunate. The other white one. Or, you know, rank. Or if they have anything that will buff the toughness here, that's pretty bad. They don't, thankfully. So this Nausea is now live. I really need to draw, I guess, another land in order to... make this really work. There's Gurmag Angler. So yeah, I guess let's Nausea. We'll take the risk and hope they don't have another creature thing in hand. Should we brainstorm here? Probably not. I don't even know what I'm brainstorming for. Another land would have been nice. Missing a land drop is actually kind of rough. I wonder if it is worth it to brainstorm because I will not be able to do. I actually am. I'm gonna try and hit this land drop. We did, so now I can actually play Delver. We'll put back Deprive, Counterspell, and that way we'll flip Delver next turn. And it wasn't like we were using that mana anyway. So my opponent's going to have a window here to get something online. Then we're going to flip Delver and have the Counterspell on top. And then we can think about maybe Auguring or, leaving it Counterspell Accumulated Knowledge. But yeah, I don't really know how else we could have played that. If my opponent does have like a really good enchantment here, then yeah, it's really unfortunate. But I think we played around it as best as we could, given the fact that our sweeper is sorcery. Gut shot. Wow. Actually, not that upset about that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna play Augur. We'll take the Deprive. And we'll leave up the AK. Yeah, I was not expecting Gut Shot. That's not really that scary in this deck. It hits Delver, and sure, I don't have a threat really now, but I'm more concerned with my opponent playing creatures and well, not even creatures really. Their creatures aren't really that great. I don't want them to play auras. So as long as I have answers for their auras, I'm probably in pretty good shape. Countering the Cartouche was also kind of meh, but I really wanted to be able to get that Boggle off the table. And countering Armadillo Cloak is a pretty big no-brainer. My opponent can get in for 1 here if they want. I'm willing to trade some licks. So really we just need 1 more card in the bin to cast this Angler. Or we could draw a Swamp. And we'll leave up. I guess we could tap this extra blue. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, drawing a Swamp there was actually pretty nice. And there's no sense in leading back Augur, so we'll go ahead and get in. Drawing the Aura Flux would be nice, because then that would just lock this game right up. I'm still not sure we're 100% out of it. Because this is my last counter. We are countering some good business spells, though. I will say that. Evolving Wilds, sure. I think I'm going to AK main phase to see whether or not I should play this Wilds. And yeah, the Wilds are going to win here. Because they set up another Angler. And I guess we'll just have to hope my opponent does not have another Armadillo Cloak. And go for broke here. And I did not have enough to cast the other Angler. So yeah, it seems pretty unlikely my opponent does not have another business spell here, though. Okay, yeah, sure. Three of those. What can I do to beat that? I mean, I have the counters. Like that would have been a great way to beat that. But yeah, 3 of them. Come on, that's a pretty good hand for my opponent. Let's grab another island. I don't think we really need another swamp. Another Gurmag Angler, sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, 5. Yeah, I don't really want to get rid of the AK quite yet. So yeah, we are winning on the board here. My opponent has had to only deploy one of these a turn. If they had been able to resolve multiples of those armadillo cloaks, we'd be in very bad position. And of course, they could still have some very live draws here. But I do believe that unless they get something... Now, we don't have lethal, actually. This is actually pretty... We're still actually not in a very good position. Despite having double anglers, my opponent is going to gain at least 3 life here, if not more. I was going to say, if they have another one, I'm going to be like, no way. Nora Arlid is problematic, but not insurmountable. Unfortunately, I did take out all of my spot removal. So I'm not really sure if we attack into it or not. It seems bad. Well, we have another Gurmag angler, so maybe? We would have to attack... Let's see. So now we're doing 6 damage to him. Or, I mean, him or her. We're doing 6 damage if we attack with everything, because they'll block an angler. They'll go to 6. Then they'll go to 9. This Silhana Ledgewalker is just problematic enough that it might cost me the game here. Because yeah, they'll go to 9. Unless what I do is I play another Gurmag angler, they'll go to 15. That's still not good enough. Because my opponent now has this Aura Gnarlid. And I only can play one more Gurmag angler. And my opponent will block no matter what. And I'm going to have to get rid of this AK to play another Gurmag angler. So yeah, if we attack with everything, they go to 6. They'll go back up to 9. Then we attack with everything again. And they go down to... I think we have to, though. I don't think we can afford to let them keep ticking up with this, because it's only a matter of time before they draw, like, Ancestral Mask or something, and then just win the game. So, as of right now, I can afford to take... I don't have enough time. Like, I would win this race if I had more time. But... I mean, I guess that's why it's a race, right? So, yeah, I think we're going to lose this one. And, you know, I probably should have thought about playing Aura Gnarlid, but the removal is so bad against 90% of their deck. Or, you know, probably a greater percentage than that due to Aura Gnarlid. Or due to there only being, like, maybe, I don't even know how many Aura Gnarlids they're playing. It might be 1, it might be 2. I don't think it's 4. So yeah, they have 5 cards in hand. They cannot attack me with this Aura Gnarlid. If they attack with the Aura Gnarlid, I'm probably dead. And then I am forced to not attack with a creature, which will have to be the Augur. Right? Because I want to get in at least the... I just don't think I can win. Yeah, that's pretty good. Actually, this is lethal, maybe? We'll see, but I think it actually might be. They're gonna fight my angler. Get 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, it's not quite lethal. So I do have one more turn to pull something out of my hat. I have one more turn to figure out how to do 9 damage to my opponent. Because this is going to put me to 1. But I'm not quite dead, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, my opponent will go to 9, and then I'll attack them for 6. They'll be at 3. So yeah, I need one thing. Yeah, this, like I said, this Ledgewalker was just annoying enough. Sure, Thought Scour. Let's see. Mental note? Yeah, it looks like the gravy train ends there. Because, yeah, there's no way I can stop this. I could attack for 6, but it's not enough. We'll go ahead and concede, and I'll see everybody for round 2.